Right. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Passionately Speaking, our weekly public speaking training call. And today we have an exciting one, because it's a new year, one that's, I think, really important for us to set our sights for now, and that is how to turn your words into wealth. Yes, how to turn your words into wealth. Now, our words are really important, and we've talked about this time and time again. Not only our words that we say publicly in a speech, but our words that we say to ourselves, words that we say to other people. We manifest what we say. Everything and everyone that's around you and everything that you have is a direct result of the thoughts you think and the words you say. Period. No ands, ifs, or buts. And how do I know this to be so? Because God made us in his own image, right? And God created the world with words, right? He said, let there be light, and there was light, right? He commanded the mountains to move, and he made us in his own image. So that tells me for certain that he's given us the power of words. And it's up to us, though, because of our free will, on how we use it. And we can use it for destruction, we can use it for hurt, or we can use it for good and love, and we can use it for prosperity and abundance. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. And I think one of the people on this call that I believe that has the words dialed in better than anybody is Dr. Renee, because she always speaks kindness. I've never heard her ever in the many, many years that I've known her to say a bad word about a person, place, or thing. So she's our model that we can model. And again, there's only one time that she kind of asked a question about somebody, like, is this person blank? I'm like, I don't know. But she never said a bad word about that person. And I've always, tried to model that, tried to model Dr. Renee, because man, I've been told very little tact sometimes. I just, you know. So, um, so anyway, and that's what we want to do is have some tact, and we want to always be kind, especially to ourselves. We're the people that we mostly, talk bad about, right? We talk bad about ourselves more than we probably do any other person on the planet. And that's what we have to stop. And along with that, because if we're talking bad to ourselves, we're stopping the wealth. We're stopping the flow of wealth. You can't have it both ways. You can't talk bad about yourself and say, "Oh, I'm a dummy," or "Oh, I'm whatever you people say about them." I don't even want to verbal those words, but I've done it. I've called myself an idiot, stuff like that. Well, you call yourself that enough, and you'll believe it. So just every time I do, I erase, 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 and I say something positive. Les Brown taught me that anytime you say something negative about yourself, it takes at least seven positive things to neutralize it, not make it better, to neutralize it. And if you've been in my live training, you know that I'll catch you saying something bad about yourself, like, "Oh, I can't speak," or "Oh, I can't get the system," or "Oh, whatever." And we will go around the table, and everybody that's participating will say something nice and positive about you. And that's what you want to do for other people, or that's what you want to do for yourself. So we're just going to lay that out, because again, I could teach you how to turn your words into wealth, but if you're already sabotaging yourself, it's just not going to work. And I'm sure, Tanya, in your business, you hear a lot of that kind of sabotaging remarks about wealth and why they can't save money. I can't save any money. Well, hello. I mean, I had a friend recently that said, "Oh my God, I'm hemorrhaging money." And I'm like, don't say that. Don't say that, right? Never say that. Say, yes, I've got an abundant flow of money, and I'm giving back to the universe or back to the economy, but don't ever say you're hemorrhaging money. Oh my goodness, don't say those things. Not at all, not unless you want them to be true, which you don't, right? Okay, so having said that, we are going to talk about 5 ways that you can turn your words into wealth. 5 ways. And of course, I'm talking about speaking on stage because we all want to do better at selling from the platform. And I'm telling you, some people get it, some people do it easily, and other people struggle. And it's okay. It is okay. I mean, it seems like, we've all said, oh, so and so could sell ice cubes to Eskimos or yogurt in a blizzard or whatever, right? Some people just have that gift. Well, guess what? We all have gifts. Remember, God has given us all gifts, unique gifts. That means one of a kind. And maybe your gift wasn't the gift of gab, but at the same time, we can learn to be better. And that's what we're doing today. We're learning to be better at our words and better at selling whatever we're selling when we speak. Okay? Some of you probably got it down. Boop, 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 boom. I was talking to one of the gals at the gym today, who's a young gal in her 30s, and she's practicing to go on stage. And so she's taken posing lessons, and it comes hard for her. And I told her, me too. I wasn't brought up dancing. I didn't have ballet. I didn't have all those things. So it's harder for people like her and I than some gal who had dance lessons or who can dance. It's just going to be different. We have to take more classes, and that person show her one time and she's got it down, right? That's just how we're all wired. Doesn't mean I'm any better than her, worse than her, can't do it than her, but I can learn. We can all learn anything and everything, and we can master it. The gifts that we have, we teach others, right? That's what we do with the gifts, our natural born gifts that we're just good at. We teach others. We give that to others. We share it. And then when we need something, like posing, people will share it with us, whether you hire a coach or not. I believe in hiring coaches for everything, everything, because that's how the world economy goes around and around. You hire coaches, other people hire you as a coach, and on and on and on. And I've hired coaches for years, right? 4 years. I know Dr. Renee has too. I mean, and all of you have, but I mean, I paid one of the most expensive, I paid for 3 months for a coach. And it was a sales coach and someone who was helping me put together my legacy program. I paid $19,000 for 3 months. I also paid another big item is I paid $10,000 for one day. One day, a VIP one day, right? To learn more about sales because I needed it. I wasn't a natural born seller. I'm still not, right? It comes with a lot of training. And also, my philosophy is I believe no one's going to pay you an amount that you have not paid someone else. That's just how the world is. So if you're going to do it one day, and I have my one day isn't 10,000, but my one day is 5, but I feel comfortable with that because I paid 10, right? My mastermind, year-long mastermind was 20 grand, right? Back in the day. Now I don't do it anymore. Now I just do a retreat for 4 grand, right? But I'm very comfortable with that because I've invested way more than that in my retreats and way more than that in my coaching. So you want to think about that when you are pricing out your coaching. And I'm not saying it to discourage you or put a cap on it. Put whatever it is you believe you'll get. But I'm just saying, if most people underbid themselves, right? Think about what you've spent and what you've invested and your own coaching. And you deserve every bit of that or more for your own coaching or your own training or your own consulting or whatever you want to call it, right? And don't feel bad about it. Remember, thinking and talking. You just keep talking it and talking it and talking it. I remember one time years ago, I've been in business now 22 years. And when I very first started and I was pricing myself, I didn't know how to price it, right? And so my coach at the time, and I have not changed my price in 20 years. I should have, but I didn't. I haven't. But my coach said, you want to charge $250 an hour. I said, but Eric, I said, that's what lawyers charge at the time. Lawyers charge a lot more now, you know. And he said, yeah, but lawyers keep you out of trouble. What you do, Arvee, is make people money. And so the first time I wasn't comfortable with it, for months, I didn't share that price. For months, I stuck to my old price. And then finally, I had a coaching call with somebody, and then I told them the price. And she said, oh, okay. And I went, right? Because I bundled it. You never want to sell hour by hour because you're not going to get anywhere, right? Dr. Love isn't going to give you your love connection in 1 hour, right? Tanya, you can't give anybody, solid financial practices and plans in an hour. Nobody can do that, right? You need a bundled block of time. But anyway, so once they said yes, I never looked back. But I also never raised my rate either. So it's good that I'm retiring now because I would raise it. All right, let's talk about how to turn your words into wealth now. Now that I set it all up, we're going to spell out the word words, right? Acronym. And the W stands for write. Yes, write as in writer. You've got to write it down. You've got to write out, not your speech, but you've got to write down what your goals and what you want to sell and what price it's going to be. Hi, Don. What price it's going to be, and all of that. So you want to write down your intention, your goal. This is what I'm going to sell. This is the price I'm going to sell it at. And this is how I'm going to sell it. Now, there is a magic formula for selling from the platform. People just don't magically. How do I know that? Because I took a $10,000 class, right? I got the formula, right? This isn't about the formula in this class. It takes a long time. It takes me a couple days to teach somebody the entire formula and have you practice it. If that's something you would like, then we'll do a little closing seminar and teach you just the close, just closing for selling, not closing. You all know how to close because it's part of the system, but you take out that little tiny bit and you slip in this little formula when you're closing, especially for a big ticket item. Not a $20 book. Who cares, right? You can say anything you want practically. But when you're, anything that's $500 or more, you want to know this special formula. Anyway, so you want to write out what it is you want to do, your intentions, your goals, even your goal for how many of these you want to sell. Yes. How many of these do you want to sell? Because if you don't write down a goal, it's willy-nilly, right? If you're going to wing it, you get wing it results, meaning you won't know what kind of results. All the big closers from the stage know exactly how many they're going to close. They know exactly when and where. They know where to put their tiers if they have tiers they're using. They know where to do this, where to do that. I mean, some of the great closers, oh man, I can't tell you, because I've had a lot of them on my stage. And number one idea is this: they always gave the same speech. Always the same speech. If ever you've seen Loral Langemeier, um, um, well, I can't, there's so
Les
many.
Brown, Les Brown.
Not Les Brown.
He
Les
does it.
Brown is not a good salesperson from the stage. He's lousy at it, lousy. But what he is a great storyteller. So he can sell a little 197 program and have everybody rush to the stage. But he cannot sell a $25,000 program or a $20,000 program, or even a 10. I'm sorry, I love him to pieces. I've been on stage with him. I love him, but he's a storyteller. He gets wrapped up in the story, and then he gets wrapped up in his laugh.
Mhm.
Right? Right, Dr. Renee? He's fantastic, but selling from the platform, not as good as some of these others, like T.R. Becker, who's so full of charisma, you would sell your freaking firstborn to get whatever he had. I'm telling you, right? He's gone now. He's sold out and he's, doing something else. But there's so many. But John Childers, he doesn't do it anymore. But he would go to the back of the stage. He would be talking on stage, and then he'd walk to the back. He's still talking, right? He'd walk to the back, and then he turns around and he goes, "Everybody turn around. This is where you're headed." And he's in the sales table. I mean, there's so many techniques these men got guts to do that a lot of the women don't, right? But Loral Langemeier, she can, she could sell with the best of them. But anyway, we're not going to do a lot of those techniques, but offer good value. And I've seen with good value and smaller prices that you can, like Les Brown, can have everybody run to the back of the stage just wanting it, filling it with a bargain. But it's intention. Intention. You have to set that intention and the goals for what it is you're selling and how many you want to sell. One time I was on my mentor stage for the first time and I was selling this product, passionately speaking, $497. Now I had to give him half of whatever I sold. But my intention, now I'm telling you, it was 20 years ago. I've not raised this one either. 20 years ago. And I sold 10 of them. Right? I was thrilled to death that I sold them. Right? Now he helped because he edified me. So if you've got anybody that can edify you, like Dr. Love is a great edifier. She's edified me a lot, right? Get her on your side. She's an edifier. Find people like that. So write it down, set your intention, get an edifier, and sell, and just set the intention. I never set the intention to sell. It's the intention is to help people, right? This will really help people. And I just pray to God to bring me the people that he wants me to help. That's it. And if you're like me, try that. Now, it works better when you get some real sales training and techniques, though. I'll tell you that, because there's an order at which people emotionally buy, right? And some people, like I say, have it, and some of us have to just work a little bit harder and take a little more training to get it. Okay? All right, the O stands for openness. Openness. Be open. And again, these are my ideas. Is it, some of the, they're, we've all seen sleazy salespeople from stage, not on stage. And there was a while back, I'm telling you, this is how it affects people. People that don't go to a lot of seminars and they come to your seminar for the first time, they're not used to it. So they're going to either do one of two things, either think the person selling is a sleaze bag altogether, or they're going to be drawn to you because they've never heard anything like it to be sold to from the stage. I've watched this. This is a phenomenon. I've put on a lot of events and I've seen people just like all of a sudden they're hypnotized and they get up and boom. And those people have not really been experienced to selling from listening to speakers sell from the front of the room. Those that do, like I used to in the old days, I mean, I would get up the minute the sales started, right? The guy, the individual, because back then we had 90 minutes to speak. So not now. You're lucky if you have an hour to speak and to sell. Most people only get 30 minutes and they're still expected to sell, so they sell something small. But those days we had 90 minutes to speak. And I would go to a seminar, it wasn't one of mine, and they would start in 30 minutes. They'd speak for an hour, right? They had a system. They had a system. They spoke an hour and then 30 minutes of sales presentation. I would always get up and leave the room. Yeah, you might think it's rude, but no, my pocketbook is weak. I would be right there buying everything, and I knew it. Okay, so I had to leave the room. Now I don't have that feeling when they're on my stage because I'm busy with the event and I'm in and out, listening in and out. But when I'm just an audience participant years ago, now it doesn't bother me because I see through most of it, right? Also, let me see, I had a thought, but it'll come back to me. But anyway, but that's how strong it was because it wasn't that common. It was brand new. This whole seminar business 20 years ago was really new and multi-speakers, and they all were selling everything. And oh, I know what I was going to say. So here I am at this other seminar that I paid good money for, right? And here I am at this seminar. And and it wasn't a real estate seminar. It was actually a public speaking seminar. And yes, back in the day, I went to any public speaking seminar and training I could get my hands on. I went to, the people that were high up when I started. They're mostly gone now, but so I too went to them in the very beginning just to see what my competition was and see how they were teaching. That's what you want to do. You want to go to people in your industry and see what they're doing, see what's going on. Anyway, so I went to this seminar and this woman, and oh, okay, so it's a public speaking seminar, but this guy, I don't know, Dr. Renee, if you remember John Childers, big real estate man. Do you remember John Childers? Okay, so it was his seminar. So he was speaking about speaking, but he also would have his son on who talked about assets and whether you should get an LOC, an LLC,
LLC or S
whatever.
corp or C corp. They would talk about that. Him and his son.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then he had a big real estate guy there and on and on and on. Well, there was this woman in the audience. She's like sitting behind me and she was just drunk. She already bought something. And here she is. She's a radiologist, in a hospital radiology. So didn't make a lot of money, but she made decent money, right? But when in the world is she going to have time? She lived like in Texas or something to sell real estate in California. And they were talking about big mansions and all this. And she's like back there like a puppy dog. I literally went, and this is how she already talked to me about, oh my God, my husband's going to kill me. I shouldn't have bought that other program, blah, 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 right? She's already telling me this. And then I turn around, and I see her back there after this real estate guy goes. So I go back there and she's standing there listening to the guy with her credit card in her hand. I took her credit card, pulled her arm and said, come on, honey, or whatever her name was, come with me. Let's go for a break. Let's go for a coffee. Because she's getting ready to, again, make a big mistake. I have seen so many people. See, you can't buy out of whatever suits you by being hypnotized. And a lot of these people hypnotize. And I'm not saying to do that at all. But I'm saying the old fashioned way was to hypnotize. Now we're all hip to the hypnotism, right? Or to the NLP. We're all hip to that, a little more conscious and aware. But anyway, that's just some background story. But be open and honest about what it is you're selling. How much is it really worth? Don't pick a pie in the sky, kind of a price, and give a true limitation if you are limiting. If you're going to limit it to 10 people, then stay true to your word. Don't let the 10th, 11th, 12th person join. Be true to your word, right? Because that'll have a better respect for people, even if they couldn't get in, that you're true for your word and that they had to act faster next time, right? But so many times people just, throw it out the window and just, it's like a gimmick. It's a lie. So be open with all of it. Okay. The R, of course, is going to be for rehearse. You have to rehearse that close. If you're going to make money with your words, you've got to rehearse it. You've got to, more than anything, you've got to practice that close more than the opening, more than the content, more than anything else. You just do it over and over and over again. I remember years ago when I went to a T. Harv Eker event. It was T. Harv Eker. It was um, of course, Mark Victor Hansen, Robert Allen, and Robert Kiyosaki, right? And they would all like get together and they would close themselves in a room because they knew millions were going to be made on that stage. And they would close themselves in a room. They told us this. Okay, I'm not making it up. They told us this. Close themselves in a room and they would practice their close in front of each other over and over and over. And they would get feedback. That's how they got so good. All of them can close anything, anywhere, anytime, right? So we don't tend to do that, do we? We practice alone. We practice in front of the mirror. We practice on the tape recorder, wherever you practice. Get a group of your peers and practice. Get some people from this call and do a Zoom call and practice that close. Stand up. I don't expect you to sit down. You stand up and you practice it. If you're going to have a whiteboard, have a whiteboard. If you're going to whatever, practice it like you were going to do it off on stage. Practice. Rehearse, rehearse, rehearse. All right. The D is for dedication. You have to be dedicated to your words. You have to be dedicated. Every word in a sales script has to be deliberately designed to bring you money. It's got to be emotionally designed. It's got to be intellectually designed. All of those things, because you're going to have the emotions, but you're going to have people trying to figure out intellectually, why should I buy this? Right? They always, people buy on emotion and then they rationalize intellectually, but not any, I mean, it still happens, but on stage, people, they're skeptical now because of all the great speaker closers that we've had in the past. They're hip to it. They're skeptical. They're like, well, and so they're really thinking more, analyzing what are they going to get for the price. And that's a good thing because then they're going to be committed. I mean, I can't tell you there's been plenty of time. I don't know about you, Dr. Renee, but there's been plenty of time in the past that people have bought stuff from me and have not even came to the event or came to the coaching or whatever it was. They just threw their money away. That's not what I want. I can't help anybody that way. I'm not looking for handouts. I want to help people. But if they act on emotion solely, then emotion will take them out, right? Oh, I can't do this. Oh, I don't have time, right? So we want to do both emotionally, but then reasoning, give them the reasoning behind it intellectually. So it'll stick as one and they'll come through your training and be happy about the money that they spent. Know that they made the best decision in the world. All right. And the S is for stories, of course. We all know that stories sell. We all know that stories are invisible selling. We all know that stories can sell for us. Now, to a point, because there was a guy on my stage, he was a comedian, and he did a great job at his close. He was just selling a laughter clinic, which we could all use. It was one of those things, it's a plus. Okay, so sometimes we go to seminars and there's something big, right? Like something really meaty that we want to buy. But then there's these add-ons, right? Oh, that's like a little dessert. I'll get that too. That's not that much money. This one was 5,000 and that's only like 500. Okay, I'm going to add it on. You know what I mean? Have you all done that? About more than one program, right? So that's what this guy was. So not something really big, right? And he did a great job selling. And then he started telling stories, funny stories, goofy stories. Well, he did about another 10, 15 minutes of that. And by the time he was done, everybody forgot about what? What he was selling, or to go to the back of the room. Big mistake. And he was baffled when he came back, and I gave him the envelope, and the envelope was empty. To see, the envelope has all your receipts in it of people that buy, and his was empty. He couldn't believe it. And I explained to him why. When you are selling from the platform, I don't care if it's a $100 thing or a $100,000 thing, nothing comes after you sending them back to the room. Okay? Not even your big, I mean, you can have your memorable statement, but it's got to be changed into, and I'll see you in the back of the room. Go. And that is it. No chit chat, no answering questions. If you want to answer questions, you say, meet me in the back and I'll be happy to answer that question. Everything you do is to get them to the back of the room once you've explained your offer and the benefits and how it works or where it is and how much it is and all that stuff. Then it's like, go, right? I've been to many events where I've seen people get up before they've even said the price. That's how full of benefit it was. Mm. If someone needs it, they're gonna go and grab it. But do not talk them out of it by talking too much or answering questions. Once you do your delivery, back there, talk to you back there, and that's it. God bless. And I'm off the stage. All right. So those are the 5 ways you can turn your words into wealth. Now, I want to give you some other tips. We just got a few more minutes. Now, there's books out there that you can use for key phrases, not for a system necessarily. That's something that you really have to get coaching from. But let's say a lot of times you can turn your words into wealth writing. When you write that email to get them to sign up for a strategy session, there's some words that you can use. So some powerful books that I have seen and used myself are, and there are new ones out there now, but these are kind of old. There's probably new versions, but this is Phrases That Sell, right? Certain phrases that sell, and it's just full of like different little phrases and different, like, let's say, let me read one. Proven performance. If you want to talk about proven performance, there's this little phrase. Everybody needs a little help sometime. Everything you need to succeed. Succeeding expectations. Experience the difference. Now, yeah, you could now take this and put it in chat CBT, right? You could say, how do I talk about proven performance? But I got this book before chat CBT. Another book is How to Say It So It Will Sell. How to Say It So It Will Sell. Then the last one is How to Turn Your Words into Money. How to turn your words into money. So these are all great books that you can use as tools. Like I say, you can use ChatGPT, but I kind of like having something solid that I can look at and cruise through. So let me give you some powerful 38 ways to use the word free, right? 38 ways to use the word free, the most powerful word in any language, right? Free trial. That's number 1. Free trial, free sample, free gifts, free bonuses, free money, free examination, free name reservation. You know what that means, free name reservation. And it explains it all. News of 3 gifts inside, send for free information, send for free booklet, buy one, get one free, free consultation, free test, free door prize, free bonus points, free contest, First month's rent free, free lesson, free vacation, free day as our guest, free refills, free car wash, free oil change, free special report. And the list goes on and on and on. So there's no shortage in ideas. You just sometimes need a little help that'll jog the memory and go, oh, yes, okay, I could do that. I could give away now something else for free. So there you have it. That's how you can turn your words into wealth. So we have just a few minutes. We have almost 15, not quite, about 12 minutes. So let's go around the room. If you have any questions regarding this or something you'd like to share, now would be an excellent time to do it. So Dr. Luana was the first one on, so she gets to go first.
Oh, gosh darn. Well, I'm like you were saying earlier, I am terrible at selling. So
I believe you because you just told us.
I am, but I guess I shouldn't say that because I just put that out there to the universe and now everything is going to fail because I said that.
No, just say
That's
you're
something
getting
I need
better,
to
that
work
you're
on
working on
though. I do need to work on selling.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
all do.
Mhm.
Very few are T. Harvecker and born with it, believe me. So we all, and it's not something where I took one class. I've taken many classes. I've taken script classes. I've taken sales classes. I've taken, like I said, public speaking, selling from the stage, for 10 grand. So, yeah.
Yeah, years ago there used to be a women's professional sales organization that I was a part of, but
Oh,
it it didn't take with me, and probably because I didn't have the right
mindset.
mindset.
You weren't
So,
ready.
yeah.
Now maybe you're ready.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right, so you know what you need to do. All right, next was it was Jackie, but Jackie, are you here? Okay, Dr. Renee.
Okay. Um, okay, yeah, this was excellent, Harvey. The thing about the negative word, and it's the cancel of the 7 positive words or phrase. Um, One of the things I've learned years and years ago is saying cancel, cancel, cancel. When you say something like I'm a poop head or something like that, one of the things I've embraced is the word embrace. And I would get up in the morning years ago and I say, oh, I'm such a knucklehead when it comes to technology. And I stopped saying that. And now I can do Canva AI. I guess I didn't even know that Canva was AI because I didn't even know the word AI at one time. And so I kept saying, I embrace technology every day as one of my declarations.
I
I'm a good
love
citizen.
that.
Yeah, I embrace technology. After my morning devotions and my meditation, and then I go work out at the gym. But when I'm walking from the elevator down to the gym, I embrace technology every day. I embrace technology every day in every way. I mean, just constantly. So when it came to Canva, and now when I do my slides, people are like over the top. They've even offered me money to do their slides for them to match their speeches or PowerPoint or whatever. But I don't know how to do PowerPoint. I know how to do Mac in my Mac, just
Yeah.
whatever Canva. But the point is that when I got a hang of it, I said, oh, then I had to learn how to download and upload my design because I do a lot of things with watercolors and pen and ink, and I would put it into my uploads. I said, how do I do that? So I take a picture with my camera. So I said, okay, what would Arvee do if she had to do this, or what would so and so do? And then I get out of my head. Instead of overthinking something, I pretend I'm Arvee, or I'll pretend I'm Eric Lotham. What would he do? What would Arvee do? And if neither one, then I'll figure it out. Like, what would so and so do? So I look at people and model a certain characteristic. Does
That's
that make
good.
sense? Even with
Absolutely.
Loral Langemeier, she's a really tough cookie boss lady. There's parts of her that I don't like because she gets too bossy, and the
Right.
B word, the B word. But I don't want that part. But the part about her closing, she's a businesswoman. She knows her numbers. And I remember
Right.
that from years
That's
ago. I was part of her table 16, and she got those people out of their seats running to the back before lunch because it's the time. It's like it's still going to be there. No one's going to run away with the paperwork. Even at dinner time, people they'll take money, But the way she put pressure on people, I said, I never want to be like that. But how does she
Right,
close? And so things
right,
like that, there's little things, little nuances that I got people to close. And I did it with love and intention. And we come with a love and intention. How can I be of service? How can I help this person get out of their funk about finding love and, oh, I'll never find a man and blah, 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 blah. I help them when you hold God's hand and you give them love and care and encouragement. That's all people need is a little bit of encouragement, because people from the outside, they never hear that. They never hear love and encouragement, or I believe in you. So the words that I say to myself, I say to other people. It's right
right.
action. The other phrase I live by too, RV, and your community is right action and correct exchange. So you say kind words and it's back and forth. When they get kind of ugly, it's like, okay, well, thank you so much. Thanks for sharing. And then I move on to something else. And with that, RV, I'm complete. Thanks so much.
Yeah, you brought up some really good points, and that is overall, you've got to be true to yourself and to your audience. Because I want, after I took that $10,000 class and they told me to say, get up on a chair. Well, they first told me, go to the back of the stage and I'll tell you how you can get it free. And then told me to get on a chair. And the way that they got it free is that they had to bring in two other people, right? So when I said that, people felt like I slimed them.
Mm.
That made me feel horrible. So I only did that technique that once. I think I lost sales, because they fell in love with me on stage, but then I went back there and tricked them by saying, well, you have to bring in two other people and then you can come in free, right? And they felt tricked.
Yeah, and that's
So
why
that's what I
when
learned.
we know our values and beliefs, obviously believing in God, but our values and beliefs of who we are, respect, acknowledgement, attention, affection, open communication, just different basic values. Does this align with who I am? Whatever
Right.
that exercise was. And sometimes not every coach is for every person. You know, Jeffrey Gitomer, do you know who he is? Have you heard of him?
Woohoo.
Jeffrey Gitomer. He's written over 30 books, 35 books,
Oh,
big time. He's like the Napoleon Hill of today, of
oh,
2026, big time. I went on his private thing where there's only like 15 people, and it's a private retreat. Every other word in his sentence was the F word. I go, oh my God, F this, F that. And then
right.
the thing, and it's like, what did I get myself into? I said, okay, get over it. You paid all this money. Let it just go. Pray. Every time we took a break, I had to pray. Please, God, help me get through this. Let me just take the notes and ignore the other bad, negative stuff. The point is that I learned, I changed a lot, I shifted, and things just turned around. And so it's taking what you know and what feels good to you, but there's certain things you just have to, it's kind of like putting spaghetti in a strainer. You take the good stuff and then they leave the icky stuff. So
Yeah.
anyway, I hope that helped everyone. Okay, thank you.
Good. I love that. Yeah. Just so you have to be true to yourself. And it's like what'll work for one person. Like in this case, the guy that would taught me how to do it's like 6 foot, right? And big guy. And so he could get away with that stuff. Good looking, big blue eyes, and he could get away with that. But when I tried it, I felt icky doing it. But I just, I thought in my head, well, I paid 10 grand for it.
Was that James
I
Malachek? I
better
just thought,
do it,
was that James Malachek, RB,
No,
who you're talking
no,
about?
it was Dave Van Hoosen. Do you know who he is? Yeah. So now I have no respect for the man at all. But anyway, that's a whole nother thing. But even when you learn something, if it doesn't feel good, don't do it, especially on stage. Try it, practice it. You owe it because I mean, when I posed for the first time and they told me to do this and that, it didn't feel good. But I knew I had to push through it because that was how they wanted people to pose. So there's going to be certain times where you're going to push through it, and other times that you're just going to say, "This is inauthentic to me and who I am," and then don't do it.
I think with this community, when you're out of town, it was Tanya, me, and Tommy, and I think I called Jackie also. I said, could we had to rehearse for something or Tommy's launch or something, and we practice all of our stuff. in front of each other. And it helped because it was our community. We felt safe and we could be vulnerable, but feeling love. So Tanya would critique, Jackie would critique each other. We just critique each other. And we have this small community. Instead of going out on stage and embarrassing yourself in front of hundreds of people, you can practice. And that's the beauty of this community, is that we can practice with one another without feeling foolish. And we could be honest. I know Tanya was very honest, but very loving. So it's kind of like I always consider the source. Well, who is Tanya? Well, she's this financial planner guru wizard. Okay.
Right.
All right. Thanks.
Okay. Let's go to Tanya. And then we got Katrina, Ardina, and Jackie said she cannot use her microphone. So Jackie, you can put whatever you want in the chat. If you want, we'll read it. And then Dawn.
Well, the first thing I was going to say was what Dr. Love already said. Yeah, her and I and Tommy got together and practiced. That was probably one of my best presentations, because in the first presentation, Tommy was like, "Why is your face all over this camera like this? You're too close." And so it was little things like that. So I got back and I moved over. So it was just, it was minor thing. It was little things that really made the biggest difference. And so you were gone. We just had a ball. We did it for like 3 days, or no, twice at least. And it made the biggest difference.
Good.
But girl, I made the biggest mistake on my last presentation. I am so mad.
Tell me.
Presentation was rolling. It was so good. The information was good. But just what you just said, I practiced everything. I had everything in the middle. I did not have the end. I got messed up because I had a slide for my end, and because I didn't practice enough at the end, I didn't think it was in my presentation. It was like the worst closing ever. You would have thought I've never taken a class. And I was so upset. Afterwards, I talked to a couple of people. They were like, "We didn't really notice. We didn't mean." I was like, "No, my clothes, if you want to predict the future, create it." It was like, it's the clothes I always use. But what happened is I had these, I put my stuff in a different format. So I didn't see that the slide was there. And I just got all discombobulated. And so then I'm trying to find it, and I don't know what to tell the people to kind of wait. It was just horrible. I just hated it. So that would never happen again. Okay. That's one thing that would never, ever happen again. And I see what the problem was. I spent too much time on my content. I spent too much time on everything but my clothes, because it's at the end. And I just didn't do it. And I was so mad at myself. It took me a while. I think I'm just now over it. And that was like a month ago.
Well, did you know anything?
I didn't really try to sell anything. That's what I'm saying. I didn't. I had people afterwards, because I did do a survey and they could get on my calendar so I could give them the results. So I have had that, but I didn't try to sell anything. I didn't try. I freaked out at the end. I didn't know what to do when I lost my train of thought. And I just got blank, like a deer in the headlight. I was just like, bam. And I don't know if any of you, I don't think any of you were on that call, because I know Ardina had something to do, but the content, everything was just perfect until the end. And I think the close is the most important part of your presentation.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, it is. If you want to help people, that's the only way we can help people, is by offering a way to get our help.
Yeah. Yeah. So I learned a valuable lesson, though. Those are the kind of lessons. I don't know. I think you've heard before, Arvee, you've messed up somewhere in your presentation. You won't do that again, because you learned that lesson.
The best way to learn is, I try to help point out the manholes, but sometimes you have to fall into them to get out of them.
Yeah. So I learned a valuable lesson. But had I practiced with Dr. Love and Tommy, I probably would have figured out that that's what I should have done. So,
Well, Tanya, you can call me anytime, okay?
I will. I enjoyed that. We had a lot of fun.
Also need to know, and follow the system, and then you'll have the close in there.
Well, the funny thing about it is I had your book right next to me because I was getting ready to do that, and then I got distracted, and then I never did look at your in the book. I mean, I did everything, it was just terrible. And I didn't look, and I was like, all I had to do was look on her sheet. It would have been so easy. But so anyway.
It's okay. You'll do it next time.
Yeah, I'll do better next time.
Yes. Yes. All right, let's go to Katrina, and then we'll do Ardina, and then we'll go to Dawn.
I'm sorry, I forgot the question.
Is
What was
there
the question?
anything, they're not a real question, but anything you want to share or talk about?
No, not this time.
Okay, great. It was great seeing you this morning. Yeah. Okay, Ardina.
Okay. I just wanted to get what the D stands for.
Dedication.
Dedication.
Being committed and dedicated to that close, to doing a good job with the close, knowing that you're doing it because this is how people will get more of you. This is how you'll help people. We can't help anybody get over whatever it is we're helping them get over, or in your case, leave their legacy, if they don't buy from us. If they don't buy, one of those products, I mean, that you're selling, then how can they leave a legacy? It's that important. They need to leave a legacy. We have to be dedicating commitment and committed to their desire. Knowing, but sometimes we get so hung up in our desire, and that's to sell to make money, sell to make money. Forget all that. Come from a place where it's their desire. You know that they can't leave a legacy. You know their photos are going to disappear and disintegrate. It's your duty to tell them that and to sell them a way that they can solve that problem. We all solve problems. We're problem solvers. We're not sellers. We're not money grabbers. We are dedicated to helping people solve their problems.
Well, I also want to say I had a similar experience like Tanya as well.
Yeah, what happened?
I spoke on the 27th of December at a library and ran out of time, number one. Number two, I spent too much time engaging with the audience. I mean, everyone said it was great, they got good information, but I knew that I didn't get the close like I was supposed to. And I felt really bad too. I'm like, gosh, I went through all of this. Everything was planned out, and it did go well except for my close. And I was like, and that's not a good feeling because we know how we're taught.
You have to time it and leave time for audience participation. Yeah. Or nip it in the bud, say, we need to, my time's almost out and there's some more important information I'm going to share with you, so I need to move it along. Please come and see me afterwards. I love our interaction, but come and see me afterwards. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I've just, gone right out with somebody too long with a question, and I've just had to say, I'm so sorry, I have to cut you off because my speaker time is limited and I still have to share some more things. Please come and see me afterwards, because some people will go on and on and on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, now you learned. Okay. All right, Dawn, anything you want to share?
Yeah, when you talked about the guy who oversold, like he sold it, but he didn't. Then he told the stories. That hits home for me, because like when you make a sell and you solve a problem, don't over talk and give them time to think about it and not want to do it or have excuses for what they need to do. Yeah, so don't oversell it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Don't what is it called? Like don't oversell it, but also don't unsell it for yourself. Yeah. And the more you talk, unsell it sometimes. With business, any kind of business.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very good. Okay, ladies. Well, that wraps our call up. Thanks for staying a few minutes later than usual. That wraps up our call today. Now, how many of you have gotten any speaking engagements so far? this year. I know we're only 13. Good. Dr. Lumana, excellent. So make sure you're looking at those. Your hand up, Dr. Lumana, did you want to say anything or? Oh, you're just putting your hand up. Awesome.
Yeah, I was just acknowledging. I've got the 4 bookings so far for this year.
Oh,
Wow.
wow. Wonderful. Good job. Good job. So, ladies, go ahead and book your speaking engagements. People are ready now, waiting for good speakers. Maybe it won't be in January, but it'll be, in the future. So, and come back and always report whenever you do a speaking engagement. Tell us what it's about. Tell us what you did, how you did. We want to hear it. Okay? All right. All right. So get out there and speak and always speak with passion. Mwah. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye. See you
Thank you.
guys.
See you
Bye-bye.
guys
Bye,
soon.
everybody.
Good to see you, Katrina.
Good to see you too, Tanya and everybody. Bye.
Bye-bye.